Hey, there's Wisconsin Wine Guy, and welcome back to another wine review. And for those who are new, I like to review wines, I like to call it everyday drinking wines. Of course, these two wines you're looking at may or may not be everyday drinking wines, depending on who you are and what your palate decides you like to drink. Now, I have my snow-capped white hat on today to represent this winter 2025 with the snow on the ground. So this is fantastic. Can you believe it's the end of the year already? Where does the time go? So now, I was blessed. But before I do that, I grade the wines very simply with my simple system of thumb rating. Thumb up says I recommend this wine. It's a pretty solid wine. Can't go wrong with it. It'll be good for everyday drinking or just simply good to have on hand and enjoy in this case. 3/4 says that, you know what? I would definitely have this wine at my gathering. If I saw it at a gathering, I would mosey over and get myself a little taste. Halfway, ooh, you know what? Something about that wine just didn't work with my palate. Doesn't make it a bad wine, just didn't work with my palate. And you know what? It could be at this time it didn't work with my palate. All right, thumbs down, always an easy one. Every now and then there's the infamous double thumbs up. And double thumbs up says, you know what? It's a pretty solid wine, one that I recommend purchasing a couple of bottles and tasting it over time. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into these two wines. Now we're going to stay in Luxembourg. I was fortunate enough to be attending a tasting that included these two wines and various other wines from Luxembourg. And it was gracious of the host to allow me to take these wines, left of these wines, home with me to introduce them to my audience, which happens to be you. So you're in for a treat, just like I'm in for a treat, to learn about these wines. You may be able to find these wines retail in your area. I did some research on it, and maybe at some of the local shops or even Total Wines and More in your area. Give that a try. But the brand here is going to be Ramborn Cider Co. out of Luxembourg. Now, Lamberg claims, its claim is that they are the first cider company in Luxembourg. You know, taking a tradition that's been around for centuries and reviving it and bringing it back and utilizing, working with 100 different farmers of pears and apples and making cider with those paired with the products at a farm instead of just going to waste. So we're going to be doing two types here. They call this ice perry and ice cider. Now, it's not ice wine, but they utilize a process of cryo concentration. So the fruit itself is, or the juice from the fruit itself is frozen. Okay, separate the water from the actual juice or sugars, and then that part is fermented into this lovely elixir. Let's give you a color of that lovely elixir that you can see on the bottom that we have before you. All right, so the ice perry is coming at 7.5% alcohol. And again, you can find these retailed at $15.99 to $28.99, maybe even $13.99, depending on where you're shopping, if they have any sales on this. And it shows here that this one here, the Ice Perry, the harvest was October 2022. It was bottled in November 2023. It's even batch number as well. Isn't that cool? It has a barrel section as well. And this here, the ice cider, so that ice pear is made with pears. The ice cider is going to be made with various apples. It's 11% alcohol, harvested 2019, bottled in 2020. Cryo concentration method for them both, and has batch number of when it was made. So I'm looking forward to trying these with you because I was impressed the first time, but maybe, you know, I already had too much indulgence. But we're going to find out if what I felt about these wines at that moment was the same. Now, Luxembourg. There's a lot of things happening in Luxembourg. Now, you probably have maybe come across some wines from Luxembourg, and one of those wines with a word on it that's spelled Auxerrois, Auxerrois, or Auxerrois. is a white grape from Luxembourg. You know, that'd be in a green label or a brown label. And they also do Rieslings, they do Pinot Noirs, they do Gamay, you know, because they're bordered with Germany and France and Belgium. You know, so some interesting wines are coming out of there. I'm trying to get my hands on more. And I'm fortunate and glad to have done a review with a rosé, and now I'm doing a review with these two type ciders or ice ciders from Luxembourg. So first on the nose, I mean, you look at that color. I mean, it has a nice amber color, almost like a port wine or a Marsala or even a sherry, right? Hey, on the nose, this is going to be the Pear. Ooh, wow. You can smell that from here. Let me see the same thing on the apple. Oh, baby, you can smell it from here. Nice, nice. Oh, wow. So the nose here. There's a caramelization and pear. Like caramelized pear. Did you ever make caramelized pear before? That's what it smells like. Mmm. Wow. Here on the nose of the apple. Definitely get apple. Again, with subtle. So there's more caramelization on the nose here and less on the apple, but both are definitely nice. I'm gonna taste. I don't know which I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna taste the pear first. I'm gonna go by alcohol. Less alcohol here, more alcohol there. So let's go with the pear first. Ah. Now, must be thoroughly chilled. Okay, I just pulled these out the freezer, so thoroughly chilled on these two, and they're starting to warm up as they stand here. Nice acidity. Okay, nice finish for sure. You get those pear notes in the caramelization. Wow. I can see throwing a spritz in there too. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do with this instead of just drinking it like this. Now for the apple, ice cider apple. Again, you get like a tart sweet coming from the apple. Oh my, very nice. I'm glad I took this one first. Let's try the second taste here. Okay, so make sure this isn't affecting that. That's its taste. Now let's go back. Yep. Okay, so what I like about both of them, aside from just being an ice type of cider, they are true to taste. Pear and apple. Pear, you know, caramelized pears on the nose and on the taste. You know, nice mix of acidity. The apple is going to be slight caramelization with tart sweetness to it, just like if you're biting into different varieties of apples. So, if you're liking and a dessert style wine, something to go with cheeses, something to create a cocktail with, or something to simply drink on its own, you know, thoroughly chill. You can't go wrong with these. $15.99 to $28.99, depending on where you're shopping and what the sales may be. So Wisconsin Wine is going to give the the Ramborn Ice Pear, Ramborn Ice Cider, double thumbs up. Double thumbs up for both of those. You know, for its uniqueness, doing something different, and bringing a tradition back into an area that was probably going to be lost. Luxembourg. Who would have thought? It's your Wisconsin Wine Guy, saying as always, your palate be the guide. We're coming towards the end, everybody, of 2025. I have more to bring you. See you next time. Ciao.